Work is laid for a new global climate agreement. Canada is coming under fire as environmentalists claim it's failing to take climate change seriously. Canada's two biggest trading partners, the U.S. and China, recently announced plans to step up their carbon reduction plans. Canada is set to miss targets it's already set. Critics warn that a failure to act could cost Canada in the long run. Christian Yo reports from Toronto.
These two nations are not just the world's biggest economies, they're the two biggest polluters. A joint announcement of climate change policies by the United States and China in November was described as a game changer in international environmental politics, a perfect prelude to the UN climate conference in Lima. But while China and America commit to long-term measures to cut carbon, a major supplier of their energy, Canada, remains quiet.
It has got no clear vision of the future in which climate change has to be taken seriously. Stephen Harper comes from Alberta in terms of his political base and clearly has an oil man's vision of the world.
Harper's Conservative government has failed to implement federal emissions rules and refuses to commit to an emissions monitoring program beyond 2015. Under Stephen Harper's leadership, Canada took the bold step of withdrawing from the Kyoto Protocol.
For him, apparently, climate change is simply an annoyance insofar as it tends to generate opposition to pipelines and tar sands and expanding Canada's exports of petroleum products.
Canada increasingly finds itself isolated on environmental issues, and some warn that being out of step with its trading partners could cost the country more than just reputation.
It's also going to cause us diplomatic and economic problems if our allies and our trading partners move forward on this and we don't. If the big countries move forward on dealing with climate change, they're going to impose some kind of penalty on those who don't.
Canada and the US have the same official carbon reduction target for 2020. But while the US is on track to meet its target, Canada continues to slide further behind. In Lima this month, some countries have pushed for a carbon-neutral planet by 2050. Canada, meanwhile, insists a balance must be struck between the environment and the economy.
We have shown that it is possible to protect the environment while supporting an economic growth. In fact, in 2012, greenhouse gas emissions were 5.1% lower than 2005 levels, while the economy grew by 10.6% during the same period.
As the world looks to a new global climate pact in Paris next December, Canada risks falling behind in the shift to a carbon-neutral economy, with its hopes still heavily pegged to oil. And many say that is unwise, as Canada's biggest buyer of oil, the US, moves away from the black stuff. And with a similar sentiment gaining ground in China as well, Canada may soon be forced to listen to its customers or find new ones. Christian Yo, CCTV, Toronto.